Hi, everybody. Welcome again to another Chiro Chats. I have a very special Chiro Chats today. What I want to do is introduce you to Joe. Joe is like a marketing coach. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
He is a marketing coach, and he's been working with chiropractors for over 7 years now. And he really focuses on helping chiropractors with their online marketing. And it was something that I think that during COVID, we've all started to think about that, like how are we going to get new patients in and what form are we going to find these new patients, and definitely we have seen a massive, massive change on how people are going online now. The problem that I see with chiropractors, and this is the same problem that Joe has seen, is that we are actually not very good at that. We're chiropractors and we're great, but I mean, if we could have a way where we could put ads into place, see that they work and get new patients from that would be great. But we need someone who knows what they're doing. And so that is how I came in contact with Joe. And I thought it would be really interesting for you guys to listen to a conversation with him, to make your own opinion and just see what he has to offer. So hi, Joe, how you doing?
I am doing very, very well. Very cozy in my little cage here that we all find ourselves in these days.
Yeah. So Joe, just tell us a little bit about yourself first. You've been working with chiropractors for the last 7 years now. Like, how did that come about?
Sure. Yeah. So I've been in marketing and advertising for 14, 15 years now. And about 7-ish ago, I was in a car accident and was referred to a local doc who, over the course of several months, was able to not only address the issue that I came in with, but he was able to help me better understand all of the other things he was ready to do. I had a 1-year-old at the time, and he helped me understand that working with him, I could be that dad that's never just on the sideline. I could be healthy, I could stay healthy, and I could really get the most out of my time with my son, now 2 of them. So doubly important. And it resonated so much with me. I wanted to learn more about his business and realized at that point how much of an uphill battle marketing and advertising was for him. Even though I got tremendous results with our time together, he still felt like he was the best kept secret in town.
Right.
So I started working with him, and then just from the nature of word of mouth and referral, as seems to be what we all how we find patients quite often, started working with a couple and decided that this was really where I wanted to go. I wanted to work with businesses and with business owners who really wanted to make an impact on their local community, and the health of your neighbors is paramount to that. So I've been focused on it ever since.
And so tell us, what is it that you do? What is the service that you offer?
I do a bunch of different things. It's nice and easy to be able to hold out a business card that says, I make websites, or I write copy. I found that particularly for practice owners, you need way more than just one of those things. So my business card says I'm a really nice guy, because that's the only title I could really think of. But my goal is to be a marketing partner for practices, so that whether it's create a campaign or build a website or help you write script for a video, whatever the need is, that you can rely on me as a resource to either work with you one-on-one to do it, or to find a vetted resource that can do that job as well.
Right. And how do you do that? How does that all come together,
That's a good question. It starts with something that all of us are pretty bad at, which is the data. So, when you sit down with patients and you go through exams and you go through a report of findings, you tell them everything that's going on. They tell you some, and you tell them what you find, and together you build this chart that's going to help track the growth of their health during their time with you. But then when I have doctors talk with me and they say that they need help with their marketing, I say, okay, what part? And then they do this. Ready? All of it? I don't know. It doesn't work. And if a patient came in and said, I don't know, I just don't work, you'd probe a little more than that. So what I found is not having your finger on the pulse of your marketing, what your campaigns are, where they are, what they're doing, what your return on them is. The more we think about those numbers, the more so many doctors I talk to start to glaze over a little bit.
Mm.
because they don't know where to find that information, and it's so difficult. So a couple of years ago, I started on this path of trying to solve that issue. Because
Mm-hmm.
if I could make it really easy for you as the head of your own practice to know how your marketing is doing right now, then just like with your report of findings and your re-reports and reevaluations, I can show you when we started working together, the numbers showed us you were here. Now, 3 months later, you're here, or maybe you're just down here. But we can rely on that data. And by putting it in a system that I've built called Evergreen, or the Evergreen machine, it frees you up to know what's going on in your business so that you can make data-driven decisions for your future.
Right.
That one thing, making that one change has made all the difference with
Mm-hmm.
the doctors I work with, because now it's not a feeling. It's not coming in and feeling like the schedule is light, or thinking you did better last year. It's knowing
Mm-hmm.
and being able to use that to chart your performance and do better as a result of it. So
And
that's where I start. I
right.
don't, until we know the numbers, there's no sense in coming up with videos or ads or landing page or all that other stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
have to know the score first.
And can you show us what that looks like? Like, what does that data look like? Is it easy to read? Is it easy to, like me as a chiropractor, I'm now going to come back after COVID and I want to start to put ads on Facebook. I want to start to get my web page really working great and people making appointments from my web page. Is it
Mhm.
what Evergreen does then is helps you evaluate which of those tools are working or how does it work? Like,
Uh,
how would it
it- it-
speak to me as if it's my business?
sure. Well, I tell you what. Why don't I just show you? Is that okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
I can share my screen with you.
Mhm.
Let's see. This is the terror of all online meetings now, right? Is that we're all gonna accidentally share the wrong thing. Not that I have anything terrifying or scandalous on my screen. I
I
just have a
hope
whole
not.
lot of different tabs.
Mhm.
Let's see. Okay, found it on my first try.
Go.
So,
Right.
um, this is the Evergreen marketing machine. This is my setup here, and I've got a sample business loaded in a sample practice, uh, so I can just quickly show you the numbers here.
Right.
This is the first page you see when you log in,
Mhm.
and because it's the first question I ask and it's the first thing we look at when I work with practices one-on-one, I wanted to almost force you to have to see your own numbers.
Okay,
So
good. Right.
what we're seeing here, these first three squares, opportunities, pipeline value, and conversion rate, this is the highest level of what your marketing is doing. How many leads are in my process somewhere? That's my opportunities. What
So
does my pipeline look like? Go ahead.
leads you mean by advertisements or what do you leads
So
you mean
think of as potential patients.
radio? Okay.
Yeah, and quite frankly, this is a number that you should be unfamiliar with because most doctors don't know how to track it.
No.
That
Mm.
to you, and rightfully so, you probably don't track information until someone signs up to become a patient,
Yeah.
because until that point, you can't really do anything for them. So, if they call and say, well, "I'm interested, I just want to learn more about you," you may answer some questions and say, "Well, that was a real nice person," and hang up and go about your day.
Mhm.
This makes it easy to just keep track of those folks so that you can follow up with them, invite them to new events you're doing, send them special offers, share success stories with them. But this opportunities pool this is a group of people who've expressed interest in your practice but are not yet signed up for care.
Mhm.
That's that first number. And this pipeline value here in the middle, seeing 80 potential patients is one thing, but I always like to have the dollar figures in here
Mhm.
because I think that this is an important metric as well. And this is in here as a case average for your patients. So when someone signs up, typically it's not a single transaction. They stay with you for a period of time.
Mhm.
If you don't know that number, I have a way to help get that pretty easily. But
Is
so
it
that
PVA?
80
No?
PVA, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yep. So those 80 opportunities represent about 90,000 in US in this case, 91,000 in potential business.
Mhm.
And then our conversion rate is another really important number because we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to know when someone becomes a prospect, how effectively are we turning that person into a patient?
Yeah, that's really important. Really important, I
This
think.
number, if this was 87%,
Mm-hmm.
that's a very different conversation than at 7%,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we need to know, because if I bring you 1,000 prospects, but you only convert 1% of them, you may turn around and say, well, Joe, you failed.
No,
But
the
that
chiropractor
same
fact.
1,000 people, if you can convert half of them, then we're going to the lake for the weekend together. We're going to go
Yeah.
celebrate and have some
Mm-hmm.
fun. So I got
Well,
to
the
put
thing
that
is,
number up there just to make sure we're following the process all the way through.
in my practice, I have associates, and this was also a very interesting data that I started to look at. How good were
Hmm.
they at converting? Because me, as the owner of the practice, it was my job to get new patients in for them, and I was paying for marketing to do that.
Hmm.
And some of them were great converters, and some of them were okay converters. And
Sure.
actually, if I want my business to grow, I will giving them the new patients to the good converters, because it's in my
Hmm.
interest that the patients
Right.
convert. And it was a very interesting statistic, very, very interesting. Mm.
Absolutely. This gets you to a number that most doctors don't think about, which is your COPA, or cost of patient acquisition.
Mhm, mhm,
Until you know that number, you'll never know how effective your marketing may be. Because
mhm,
once we find that number, our goal is to reduce it as much as possible. And maybe it costs 400 or 500 euro to draw someone in right now. Well,
mhm,
your goal should be lower that over time. And you'll eventually find a threshold where maybe it ends up being 275. And
mhm.
that's where your best patients are coming from. But until you know these numbers, you can't ever get there. So I put them up here at the very beginning. So right at the top level here, overall, is how I'm doing with my marketing.
Right.
As we go a little lower, if you haven't had the word funnel beaten into your head by every talking head marketer, then you haven't been paying attention.
Mm.
Funnels are important, but it's really difficult to really kind of get how they work. So this is a visualization, and you're going to have multiple funnels with your practice. Here, as an example, we have just new patients. So that's
Mhm.
going to come from a variety of places. And this office does in-person workshops when things aren't closed down. So,
Yeah.
toggling between the two, I'm looking at workshops here. I can see all of the stages of my process. People ordering a ticket. We have a stage in here for reschedule, because people book, but they don't show up.
Mhm.
We don't get rid of them. We reschedule them. And by
Right.
the way, since I've been doing this rescheduling process, about 40% of the no-shows eventually show up.
Right.
So it really makes a big difference having that in here.
Mhm.
Confirming them to attend, showing up, new patient exams, committing to care. I can see the whole flow. I can feel that out in my mind, and I can see that process here on the screen.
Mhm.
Going below that, another thing that's been shoehorned in here a little bit is a task manager. Because you think about how many times you say, when a new patient comes in, maybe 4 things need to happen. Or just in the course of your afternoon, something needs to get done. I put a task manager in here just so you can track it all quite quickly and see. I've got a couple, these are all fake folks right now, but I can see what I need to do for these individuals
Mhm.
coming into the
Or what the
office.
CA has to do. No?
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yep. And so I can
Or your
toggle
or your
between.
associate. Mhm.
Yeah, I can toggle between show me all tasks for the practice, show me my own, show me my CAs, show me my associates, and it helps me know, don't guess, know. It helps me know what's going on in my office.
Mhm.
So the next piece is lead source reports. These are all of the different ways we find business. So think of these as word of mouth, Facebook, Instagram, healthcare talks, screenings, all the different ways that you're currently attracting business. They're all in here, and they're all stored.
Mhm.
Usually, same issue. When I ask a doctor, they say, "Oh, well, we do spinal screenings."
Mhm.
Well, how does that work for you? Uh, well, you know what? Let's find out. Let's
Mhm.
know. And we can look at how many leads do we generate, how many of them are in process, how many of them have we converted to patients, what's our win rate.
Mhm.
So just diagnosing this office real quick, we have a 100% win rate on our quantum neurological reset therapy sessions program, which is a marketing
Mhm.
event we've done,
Okay.
but it's only 2.
Right.
versus with our workshops, we get a whole lot of folks in, but we haven't converted it. So now we're getting very specific actions,
Right.
right?
Well,
Now I know.
this is interesting too. I mean, I've also found as a chiropractor, you might try and organize a spinal screening event,
Mhm.
maybe not now in the near future, but this was something before. And from that event, maybe you got 50 new patients, and you're like, oh my
Mhm.
God, it was a massive success. But then a month later, your adjustment numbers actually hadn't increased that much. And what you've done had saturate your practice, but your conversion rate was 10% or 20%, And it was like, that was actually not worth it at all. It cost me a lot of money, a lot of energy, and I'm completely burned out. And it didn't help grow my
Right.
practice. But
Absolutely.
maybe you could do a workshop, which is one night, and maybe you don't get 50, you get 10, but you have a conversion rate of 100%, and so
Mhm.
it's really important to know those numbers, I think, because you waste your time, a lot of time. It's good to know what works
Absolutely.
really. Mm-hmm.
Because I know you chiropractors out there. I know how little time you actually have to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
And that gut, you'll think back to a really busy event like that and think, there were so many people, they were so nice, we had a really long list of signups. That's what you remember,
Mm-hmm.
but the data will show otherwise. And to help correct that misunderstanding you have, because otherwise, without this data, when someone says, "Do you want to do another one?" Well, yeah, there were so
Mm-hmm.
many people. It was so much fun. I was so tired after. Of course, it was good for my business. Now we know, and you can test
Mm-hmm.
different things, and you can just compare them here and see.
Yeah.
As we go along here, Facebook and Google Ads. If you do any ads with them, you know how complicated their reporting is and how hard
Mm.
it is to find it. This is overview. So of course you can dive into individual campaigns, but again, this is all my scorecard. So I can see how many impressions is how many times I've shown up. Clicks is super important, right? How many times does someone take an action on my ad? My click-through rate, right? What percentage of these people are seeing the ad and coming through? My cost per click, which is on the way to getting my cost of patient acquisition. That's an important number. And then my total ad spend. So I can look at these right here and I can tell you very quickly, while we spent less than half the money with Google Ads, we've had far, far more activity on Facebook.
Yeah.
So next month, I want to take that. If these are my limits, I want to take that 145 from Google Ads. I'm going to maybe dump all of that into Facebook because I'm
Sure.
getting a tremendous amount of activity there,
Mm-hmm.
whereas I'm not with Google.
Yeah.
Google My Business is your local search engine optimization or SEO results.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm sure you get a lot of these cold calls all the time. I can help you with SEO. It's $1,500 a month for me to, but you never know what they're really doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this shows you how often do you show up in search? How many times are they, with direct search? How many times are they looking for you? How many of these people click on your website? How many phone calls are coming in? Really quick, so I know how I'm doing with local search.
Mm-hmm.
And then lower here, this is review management. How many reviews are coming in from patients at any given time? What's my star rating? So we get nothing but 5 stars here, which is really cool.
Wow.
And I don't won't necessarily touch on every single thing in here, but Google Analytics as well. So
Mm-hmm.
website reporting is really important, and it's really difficult to look at. Here, this is a 1-year view right here, just a quick zoom out. I can see, we were making some good progress. In February, we had lots and lots of this yellow bars direct visits, meaning they were
Looking for that
responding to
page.
something we sent out.
Mm-hmm.
So, had a great month. And then you can about see when the practice had to close for COVID.
Right.
But again, real quick views, lots of good information. And this is always updated. So you don't have to go download anything or upload
It's
anything. You don't have
uploaded
to
in real
email
time, is it?
in real
Mm-hmm.
a couple minutes delay. It's not
Well,
literal real
yes.
time, but
Yeah.
as real time as you need. How
Yeah.
about that? As
Sure.
real
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
as you need to
Mm-hmm.
be able, so in 5 minutes, you could think in 5 minutes a week, you could scroll through this and you can get a pretty good feel.
Yeah.
what's the hopper look like with my funnels? You know, who's possibly coming down the pipe? Is my team, are we doing what we need to be doing? Are my ads generating closed business? How are we doing in local search? I can diagnose pretty quickly if my marketing is doing what it should. And this is just the homepage. This is just when you log in,
Right.
before you get into any of the actual tools inside of the Evergreen machine.
And then, Joe, also, do you do the ads for people as well, or do you suggest people to make their own ads, or what's been your experience with that?
Yeah, you know, it's a little bit of both. There is definitely an art to ad development,
Hmm.
and you know, from being in the advertising space for 14, 15 years, I've done radio, TV, online, print, mailers, all, and there absolutely is a difference in the quality of the ads dictating the quality of the results.
Hmm.
But you know, I do some group programs, and I work one-on-one with folks.
Yeah.
But you know, before you look at any of that, having this scorecard will give you a feeling, because you may have an ad that looks silly to you, but if the data shows it's working, it's not silly. It's the
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
ad you could ever come up. You know, and I've had plenty of ads from practice owners, from CAs, from associates, where they've come up with it themselves, and it's done gangbusters. It's
Hmm.
done really, really well for them.
Yeah. 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 It's funny how that can happen sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and
Great.
I've got three other little screens in here I just wanted to show you,
Hmm.
because that's the scorecard. The other bits of this, I'd mentioned funnels, and you know, there's a lot of information on the screen you see right here,
Hmm.
but this is an overview of all of the folks in this funnel. Every one of these little squares is a different contact record, and every column is the step that they are in my process.
Hmm.
So this is a workshop funnel. So they order their ticket, you know, reschedule is that they didn't show up column. They've confirmed that they're coming. They actually came. They signed up for a new patient exam. And then this last step, commit to care. When we drag them over here, they disappear, and we get credit for them, because
Okay.
once
Right.
they've committed to care, then they're in your health records system
But
because they're a
this is
patient. You've
great
got all
for
of them.
the CAs, because like you tell your CA, like, hey, I did this healthcare class the other week and we had 10 people. How many people signed up? And they're like, well, I don't know. She had to leave, or that one had to do this, or that one came with her sister. I don't know. And
Yeah,
it was like, we'll call the people, but we at our clinic, we grade them from A to B, whether they're potential or not. But this is
hmm,
this is a complete grading, and it's like an easy grading for anybody to read. Like, if they came and they attended, well, they're probably going to be an easier conversion. So maybe focus on those ones
absolutely.
first, whereas someone who's not even turned up, maybe don't focus on them one straight away. Like, it's a great way to differentiate type of leads or type of new patients that could come in.
Absolutely. And you know, from that workshop as an example, I want to show you this very simply. When someone says they're coming, we move them to confirm to attend.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm a little old school. I think of these as Rolodex cards.
Uh-huh.
So when Tammy here walks in the door, we've got the screen up at the front desk. I just drag her over,
Mm-hmm.
drop her right in, and it updates her records. It shows that she came to the workshop. Everything, all the stuff that needs to happen happens automatically.
Can I
So
just ask you a
there's
quick question? Sorry, Joe. Say I have a
sure.
program already, an agenda program, with a database already that I work with.
Mhm.
Can I connect that to this, or are they two separate things?
So it's really easy to move information in and out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got, you'll see these little export icons on just about every page.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, let's say that we have somebody who commits to care and you want to bring them out of here and move them into another system.
Mm-hmm.
You just tap that button, it puts it in, it's what's called a CSV file.
I see
It's like a
CSV file.
spreadsheet,
Mm-hmm.
and you just pop them right into the other system, or,
Okay.
you know, from another system into here really easily.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of an overview, a full overview of the funnel. But as we go a little deeper into the individual contact records, uh, the first thing I'll show you here is my conversations, or my unified inbox.
Mm-hmm.
So people can call, they can text in some cases, they can email you, they can Facebook chat you. There's so many different things that your team's got to keep up with. I wanted to bring it all together.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're seeing here is a unified inbox. And I've got this just up for my own record here. But if I didn't have my name in this little search field, you'd see all the conversation from the practice.
Right.
And here in the middle, this is just an archive of all of our conversation. So the little green icon it means it was a text message.
Okay.
So, and I'm just kind of in the middle of things here. So here's a text from this person. Thank you. See you soon. Here's a recording of our phone call to follow up.
Mm-hmm.
So what a great training, training opportunity for your team to be able to just seamlessly record calls.
Mm-hmm.
Text messages going from the practice. Here's an email. So I can tap expand here and I can read the email that we sent or that they sent back to us. All of the places that someone could communicate with us are all right here.
Right.
I can respond all right here as well. So if you see, I can tap SMS, and if I write back to this person, it's going to send them a text message and then store it in the archive here. I can go to email. I can send them an email. I can send them a Facebook message.
Yeah.
All of the different ways they've reached out to us, we can reach right back, and it all stays in one spot.
Awesome.
And then the last slide here, this is a contact record. So you'll see something familiar here in the middle. This is that unified inbox, but just for this one patient. So I can go back and look at everything we've ever sent. I can see where we left off with this person. But then all of their contact information is on the left side. I can see the campaigns they've responded to. I can see what workshops they've come to. If we do surveys, I've got survey fields in here where you can see if they've answered your survey questions.
Okay.
This is the full, and then tasks on the right side, a full look at the person. So, we can very easily start up here at the high level of the overview of the business. Then I can look at the funnel, and then I can look at conversations with prospects, and then I can look at an individual person. So I'm at the very top level, all the way down to an individual person and all the way back up without having to go log in anywhere else. It's all in one spot.
Rightio. That's awesome. Well, look, Joe, this is exactly why I wanted to invite you on tonight. I mean, I know that many chiropractors now, with what's happened with COVID-19, we're about to move into a new phase, And what I really want to do with these Chiro Chats is help as many chiropractors as I can get access to information about different things that may help them in their business. I have been in business now for 15 years, and marketing is so important, and it's so great that you have it all in one spot. I really love that about your program. So look, I'm going to leave a link in the description about who you are and whether people can get access to your information. And tell us just quickly, like, how does it work? Like, you have different tiers, you have different support levels. Could you just tell us a bit about how it works on a financial level with you?
Sure. So what I've shown you so far is really stage one, which is the dashboard, being able to handle all of your conversations in one place, your prospect funnels, and then the individual contact records. That's my tier one program. If you skim the left side here, you're going to see a whole lot of other really interesting things, like a call tracking system, funnel builder, website builder, online scheduling, reputation management, all sorts of other things that you may not need yet. So what I've done is, what we've looked at so far, I have in my first stage of the program, and that's normally it's normally $97 a month US for that stage. So what I'd like to do, because I know the situation that everybody's in right now. I know how gun shy everyone is about investing in marketing, and quite frankly, I'm there with you. I don't want to necessarily start spinning things up just yet, because I want to poke my head out of the vault door and see who's out there. So, but having this first level of service in place, I think you'd agree with me that this will be able to help you make those decisions when you're ready to make them.
Yeah.
So for the Chiro Chats folks, who I'm sure I'm going to get to know more of, what I'd like to offer you is this. If you're interested in this level, this first stage of the program, rather than commit to a monthly payment of 97 US a month, for you all, for this little period of time, I'm willing to do this full setup that we've looked at so far, these 4 levels, these 4 portions of the program, for a one-time cost. So for 400 US, there's a one-time fee. You'll have access to all of that for as long as I have the software, which
Mm-hmm.
hopefully is a very, very long time. So you spend the money once, you don't have a subscription fee, and moving forward, you'll have all of the numbers, all of the control, all of the data to make your decisions.
Right.
And it's my hope that, with that small one-time investment, I'm able to help you get better control and feel like you're in command. And maybe down the road, when you are ready to actually run some ads or come up with the strategy, you give me the opportunity to help you do that.
Right.
So
I mean,
that'll all be
Joe,
there in the link.
I think that's amazing. And honestly, like I said, as a business owner, I have made millions of marketing mistakes and lost a lot of money that I shouldn't have lost because I was marketing incorrectly, or I was doing silly things like with the conversions and with these. But once you have those statistics, you can make much better decisions. I find it. I think
Absolutely.
it was a huge important point for me to see the growth in my practice. And I think that if there is some young chiropractors out there or just starting in a new practice, it's really important to have this information. I think it really helps with growth practice. So thank you for
I agree.
providing this platform, because it was definitely, I see it anyway, as it's been a huge hole in the market, or a huge tool that we don't have as business owners.
Sure. Well, I'm just excited about the next couple weeks and what's coming next, and
Mm-hmm.
taking the things we've learned during this time and moving forward. And I hope that this is helpful.
Yeah.
So if anyone has questions about it, you can certainly contact me and let me know.
Mm-hmm.
But this setup will work. If you have a Facebook account for your business, if you have a Google profile for your business, and if you have a website, you've already got all the tools that you need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So this will hook into what you're doing. It doesn't mean you need to spend a lot of time changing anything else. We just plug it in the setup, and you'll finally start seeing the data that'll help drive the decisions for what happens next with your
Yeah.
practice.
Well, also, I mean, I know I'm just plugging you so much, but I like the idea too that even if you want to do your own silly ads and make your own things, which is great, you can see which ones really work or not, or you have the service as well. If you want to go to another level, that you can
Hmm.
help develop those marketing ideas as well. So I like it that there's so many aspects to it as well. Joe, thank you so much. I will leave your
Thank you.
information in the description, and people can get in contact with you straight away.
Sounds wonderful. Thanks for the
All
time and the
right.
conversation. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Joe. Bye.
Bye.